Welcome to Mind Your Health podcast, dedicated to empowering you on your journey to optimal wellness. I'm your host, Dr. Connie, bringing over 25 years of experience in psychology, nutrition, physical therapy, functional medicine, and yoga. Together, we'll explore the interconnectedness of mind, body, and spirit, providing you with the practical insights and holistic strategies to elevate your health. Let's dive into today's episode and take a step closer to a healthier, more vibrant you.
Hey everyone, this is Dr. Connie with Mind Your Health podcast. I hope you guys are all doing great. I've had a little bit of a setback to where my blood pressure has been kind of up and down due to my treatment for dialysis, and it's just been a little bit of a process. And I can't tell you what a privilege it is for us to be able to move every single day. And so please take note, be grateful for whatever your life looks like right now, especially if you're able to breathe, you have roof over your head, you have your limbs that you can use. You have the ability to talk, hear, and see. These are just basic things that I think we often forget that we really need to appreciate. And I didn't really understand that until it was taken from me, of course. But with that being said, I'm back. I'm slowly recovering. I'm not fully back where I need to be, but I'm doing everything I can. And I tell ya, getting older, certainly, I've always heard other people say it, that getting old is not for sissies. And it's been kind of a process, and I think the hormonal fluctuations that we have to consider and the ability of our bodies to utilize fuel for energy and really produce more muscle, and how important your muscle mass is in terms of your functionality for your mental health, emotional health, and physical health. It's absolutely a necessity. Which leads me to today's topic, which is all about the protein obsession. Because lately, I've been wanting to build a little bit more muscle, and I see the need for muscle building. And so we at Functional Yoga Medicine have been incorporating a lot more movements with weights. And of course, yoga is very physical. However, I realized it's only pushing. We never pull to really concentrically contract the muscles against resistance using weights to really produce the effect. However, having said that, I do believe yoga is a complete form of exercise because you're able to maneuver your body weight in space with agility, flexibility, stability, and endurance. All of those things are required. So I believe in it wholeheartedly. I just want to bring a little bit more pull and resistive training into our yogic practice for those of us who are getting older and we want to produce more massive muscles, or at least preserve our muscle mass. So today's topic is the protein obsession. What we're missing about nutrition. So I talk about protein because I have two boys. One is 21, the other one is 17, about to turn 18. And they've been in this phase of cutting, building, and cutting and bulking, as they say. And they're heavy into fitness and exercise and just getting a ripped body. And in that context, they're always talking about protein intake. I tell you the amount of protein I have to produce in this house for my son, despite my recommendations. Like, it's kind of funny because he is all absorbed in this fitness and wellness industry. And those of you who have adult children, you know that sometimes, no matter what kind of education you have or background, your kids will never listen. They want to do what they're going to do, and I have to patiently, wisely guide them as they do and experiment their own things for their best results. Anyhow, with that being said, today's all about protein. because I'm in the phase of building too with my kidney failure. I do need to take more protein in. And as I started to obsess over it, I found myself really obsessing over it to a point where it wasn't good. And so I want to kind of unveil the myths about this and really talk scientific relevance so you guys know exactly what to do. So this is Functional Yoga Medicine Podcast, all about mind your health, where we challenge the norms, defy outdated health advice, and bring it back to the wisdom of the body. I'm all about the practical, integrated approach. And today we're going to talk about something that's everywhere: protein. Protein shakes, protein powders, high protein yogurts, chicken breast on everything, and the comeback of cottage cheese is a big, huge thing. And if you're in the wellness and fitness world, you've likely heard that you need to hit a certain number of grams every single day to build muscle, burn fat, or even stay healthy. And who doesn't want that? So we are inclined to listen. But here's the thing. We're being sold on a one-size-fits-all formula that often ignores the bigger picture. And worse, it disconnects us from our bodies, which is further away from where we want to go. So let's unpack what science really says and why the obsession with protein may be missing the mark, and how we can start eating in a way that's practical, intuitive, and truly supportive of long-term health. So part one is where the protein obsession actually comes from. Excuse me. So how did we get here? How did protein become the main character in the nutritional world? Well, much of it goes back to bodybuilding culture in the 70s and the 90s, or 70s and the 80s. The rise of gym culture, performance enhancement, and physique competitions led to a major focus on muscle mass. It's a complete manipulation of what you take in and how much you exercise you put out and how much you build that muscle mass. And then protein became the superstar macronutrient seen as essential for muscle repair and growth. And it is true. Then came the supplement industry. Companies saw a massive opportunity, and suddenly protein powder bars, shakes were everywhere. Marketing told us we had to chug protein within 30 minutes of a workout. So a lot of whey proteins after workout sessions was a common thing you'd see. And if you didn't do it within the 30-minute window, we'd miss the anabolic window. Anabolic is muscle building. Catabolic is muscle breakdown. Okay, so we want the anabolic effect. Fast forward to now, and the protein is in everything. It's in cereals, chips, and ice cream, and even water. The results? We're not just eating food anymore. We're eating numbers. And we've lost sight of what nourishment actually feels like. And I don't want to be a scientist, even though I am by degree. I don't like it when I'm eating like a scientist because I feel it's so unnatural. And I like to tap into my intuitive nature as well as my desires and my cravings. And I like to honor them. And I want to respect my culture. I like certain foods. And I crave certain foods when I feel a certain way. And I do tune into my hunger signals, so everything's within balance. And that's the way I prefer it. So let's talk about what the science actually says about protein intake. I like to ground this conversation in evidence or scientific evidence. Yes, protein is absolutely the building blocks, okay, of our repair and muscle growth. It's important. It's made of amino acids, the building blocks of our body. We need it for enzymes, hormones, muscles, and neurotransmitters. But how much do we really need? Well, the recommended dietary allowance is 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. That's enough to prevent deficiency, but not necessarily to thrive. Athletes and older adults may benefit from more, around 1.2 to 2.0 grams per kilogram, but context matters. Are you strength training? Are you recovering from injury? Are you chronically inflamed or under stress? It's also not just about how much, but what kind. Animal-based proteins are generally complete proteins, which means they contain all essential amino acids and highly bioavailable when you eat them. And plant-based proteins may be incomplete but can be combined for full profiles. And they come with fiber, antioxidants, and anti-inflammatory benefits. There are plenty of bodybuilders that have built their physique from plant-based proteins as well. But here's the kicker. Most people in developed countries already get more than enough protein. What's missing is not more grams, but better balance and quality of food. Excessive protein, especially when isolated and in synthetic, can burden the kidneys, somebody like me, contribute to dehydration, impair gut health, and create acidic load in the body. Has to buffer. Okay, we have a buffering system in the body to alkalize everything when things get too acidic. So what happens when we over-focus on protein? Well, this hyper-focus has unintended consequences. It can crowd out fiber-rich and nutrient-dense foods. You may end up with meals that are all chicken and no veggies, or shakes with no real food. It also fuels disordered eating. People fear carbs and fats and become fixated on protein grams instead of tuning into hunger, energy levels, or satiety. I hear my son talk to me all the time. I have to hit my 120. I have to do this, so I need this. How much do you think is in that? How much do you think is in this? And he's constantly calculating, and I look at him, I'm like, I'd hate to live like that. It takes the joy out of eating. And it breaks our relationship with food. Eating becomes a math, not intuition. This goes for macro counters, by the way, too. They weigh their food and they do everything like that. And I just don't see the relevance in it. I don't at all. Even if that is the blueprint for success and health, I mean, don't sign me up, because that's just not my deal. And it's just not the way our bodies are designed to think, right? And it's not sustainable or joyful. It's not peaceful to the mind. And let's also not forget the stress on the gut microbiome. High protein, low fiber diets can feed the wrong bacteria and create inflammatory responses. Too much of one thing can overpower everything else, you guys. So let's talk about a new approach. It's about intuitive and practical eating. So what's the alternative to all of this? Well, at Functional Yoga Medicine, we believe in eating in relationship with your body, not against it. So here's a better approach. Prioritize real whole food. Can you pronounce the ingredients? Is there color, texture? Was it once alive? Include protein, but not at the expense of everything else. Think lentils, eggs, wild-caught fish, grass-fed meats, tofu, beans, seeds, and nuts, not just powders. Aim for balance in each meal. A simple formula: 1/3 protein, 1/3 colorful veggies, and 1/3 healthy carbs and fats. Let nature guide the portions. And then listen to your body. Are you energized? Do you feel heavy after meals? Are you sleeping well? And really, I ask, ditch the calculator. Macros are tools, not rules. Use them to learn, not to live by. It's a very fatiguing and exhausting way to live. And shift the question from what should I eat to how do I want to feel? That single shift can change everything. And lastly, when you eat, focus on eating. Let it be a meditative experience. Simply chew your food at least 20 times with each bite before swallowing. Okay? I want you to reclaim sanity in nutrition, because even as a nutrition dietitian for over 25 years, there's so much hype coming in and there's so much false information. I used to just bob my head left to right with all new information coming my way when I was younger. And now I've heard the same thing over and over again. And it's just said a different way these days from what was circulating back then in the 80s, 90s, and into the 2000s, right? So if we zoom out, this isn't just about protein. It's about how we've outsourced our wisdom to charts, trackers, influencers, and superiors, or those people of authority, and how it's time to come back home to ourselves, into our body, and start to feel. Yes, nutrition science absolutely matters, but so does inner awareness, cultural context, and emotional health, as well as your age and your state of being. You're not just a body to be optimized. You are a being to be nourished. So the next time you sit down for a meal, don't ask, how much protein is this? Ask, does this feel good in my body? That's the real gold. And if you're ready to reconnect with your body and find the intuitive, intelligent, and empowering, confident way of eating, join me inside the Functional Yoga Medicine membership. We're launching in April with our Start Here Foundation phase, and it's the perfect place to begin. I'm hosting a free training this Wednesday on March 26th at noon sharp Eastern Standard Time. The link will be provided below. Join me there, okay? Go to functionalyogamedicine.com for more information, or you can join the community there for this online experience, no matter where you are in the world, because healing isn't found in a scoop of powder. It's found in how you live, breathe, move, and eat from the inside out. Remember that, you guys. Love this community. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you have any questions, comments, please comment below. Be sure to check out my link below, and I will see you guys all next week for more on Mind Your Health podcast. This is Dr. Connie. Please subscribe, follow me for more. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Mind Your Health podcast. I hope you found our discussion insightful and inspiring. Remember, your journey to wellness is a continuous process, and every step you take brings you closer to optimal health. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others who might benefit. Stay also connected with us on @Dr. Connie Chung on YouTube as well as Instagram for more resources and updates. Until next time, take care of your mind, nurture your body, and